Beef, defined as meat from a cow, a term that in 2026, I'm sure we're all familiar with by now. We see examples of said beef everywhere throughout our day-to-day life, all the way from the Chick-fil-A cow to Twitter spaces to presidential elections. You can't escape it, and beef is a part of everyone's day-to-day life, whether you want to participate in it or not. And speaking of that participation aspect of it, in order for beef to be...
Shit, I got beef in my GM right now. You see, beef part of everyday life, man.
Beef. Both sides have to be engaged. And both sides have to be aware and willing to take part and commence in such verbal, physical, and sometimes mental duels, whether it be fun or malicious. But there are a lot of times where both parties aren't on board, resulting in what the streets like to call a one-sided beef. And that's what we'll be discussing today. Some of the most notorious one-sided beefs of all time. The first thing going to be about 55 to 60% of y'all with me, because I do my part of the deal. You know, I sit up here, shower, by the way, I smell good. Trust me, you could see my hair dangling. I sit up here, shower, and do hours, sometimes even days, of research for these videos for y'all to indulge in while you're sitting there.
I feel like this
eating
nigga's
that
lying.
snack. I see you. Come on, don't hide it. Just enjoy it, you know? But if you're going to enjoy that, let me enjoy the feeling of you pushing my button. Not in that manner, though. Because if we're going to have beef as like an audience to creator type of thing, I want it to be reciprocal. You know, I want to beef with y'all. I want you guys to beef with me. Like, I don't want to be sitting here on the receiving end, not participate.
I fuck with this guy. I like the way he thinks.
In it. Does that make sense? But no, so I wanted to start with, I'd say, a pretty iconic one-sided beef. And there are some that I feel like a lot of y'all are going to be obvious. Like, for example, like a Goku Vegeta. I know that is a one-sided dilemma, but my Dragon Ball knowledge is not the deepest. So I didn't want to just get up here, make a fool out of myself, then just start talking rubbish about their relationship. Like when I know a bit about it, but not enough to where I could, you get it. But the first one-sided ribeye that I wanted to touch upon,
one-sided
I feel like
ribeye
would be Naruto and Sasuke. Because it's sort of like a one-sided beef and a one-sided love for an extended period of time throughout the series. And from early Naruto, it is a mutually competitive rivalry. Not even beef either. Like obviously Sasuke was on his cool shit. He had an image to uphold with like the whole, oh my brother killed the whole clan thing. Grow up.
I feel like
he had to uphold like the nonchalant, mysterious image like from that.
I feel like even then they low-key
all the
fuck with each
shorties
other
at the time were not even giving him a chance to breathe.
I feel like even then they slick fuck with each other though. Like it was like how me and my little brother relationship was at a certain point. Like his ass be getting on my nerve, folks, but it's the love still there, folks. Love always there.
So I know exactly how he felt. But as I said, when it came to him and Naruto, obviously it wasn't until the Chunin exams when that freaky serpent got in the mix and started warping his mind to where that mutual competitiveness and that want for power then transformed into a constant, unshakable hunger for that power, which Orochimaru was coaxing him into believing that he could get with him. So obviously Sasuke was in a weird predicament, which led to a lot of conflicting emotions, and then that
I remember you was conflicted.
bully friend rivalry type of relationship that he had with Naruto was then starting to fester into hate, which we see throughout the series.
Wasting all them
and as those dominoes fell and that unwarranted one-sided hate from Sasuke came into the picture, that's when Naruto's toxic ass, I'm assuming this is like childhood parent trauma type of stuff due to his living situation, his parents being dead before he took his first piss, as well as the third Hokage basically saying to Minato, yeah, I'll step up and I'll be a father figure to him. And the moment baby Naruto got home from the hospital, or should I say the battle against the nine-tailed fox, the third Hokage gave him the keys to the apartment, a Costco pallet's worth of Maruchan ramen, and said, little nigga, you're him, you got this. So he's had a toxic perspective on love from the get-go. So Sasuke obviously having that established relationship with him beforehand, and then just going rogue, jumping ship in the way he did, and using all of those potty words like I hate you, Naruto, this and that. I feel like that probably had Naruto's love for him charged up even more the more negligent Sasuke was towards him, resulting in Sasuke having this one-sided sirloin towards Naruto because he was just upset that Naruto was growing in strength at a rapid pace, and Naruto on the other end of things just loving the chase. So he was just as toxic low-key, and Sasuke was doing everything in his power we see throughout the series to have this nigga Naruto build up even an ounce of hate for him, and the fact that he wasn't was just making him even more pissed. But there's no move in anime that I know of that could beat the power of friendship, so they ultimately ended up squashing the beef and being friends at the end of the day, as we all know. But next I wanted to touch upon the reason why I even made this video in the first place, because I feel like
That's
this
how
was
it
one
is,
of
though.
the most ludicrous displays of one-sided beef I've seen with my own two hazelnut 6'4" eyes in real time, being Victor Wet Bananas versus Chet Holmgren. I feel like it's the first time I've ever seen, and it might be the first case of it, where we saw a new, young and spry player give up on his hoop dreams after already accomplishing them. I really cannot recall a time that I have seen on the basketball court just so much urge and need. Like, this wasn't a want from Victor, he needed Chet to suffer. That's the scary part about it. Looking back on it, I feel like that was more important to him than winning this championship.
From Wemby, unbelievable. This is what you want to see, a young team.
And on paper, it feels like if I was in one of their shoes, it's kind of obvious that a rivalry would be brewing between us, and that it would be there carried into the league, and that we would have these duels for years to come. But it was clearly evident early on that Chet wasn't participating in said antics. So it's like, given that he's approaching it in that way, you would expect the beef that was honestly birthed from the public chatter to just fizzle out in due time. But with the way Wemby has approached this, it has somehow evolved from a beef with Chet Holmgren to a torturing of him. And I believe it's going to be on some Jigsaw shit, where this is not going to stop. You know how there's like 11 Jigsaw movies? I think this is going to be a seasonal thing. And the playoff series that we just saw, I feel like this was the first movie, basically, what happened in the playoffs. And at the pace it's going right now, I don't know if there's going to be many more. Because as I said, in that last game, when I think Chet scored 4 off the bat, quick buckets too.
Man.
Very efficient, very smooth. I thought this was going to be a battle for the ages. When Wemby got the ball on the right side of the arc, hit a little us,
Bro,
passed it to them, received the ball back, and absolutely penalized Chet in that moment. We could see him siphon the love for the game from Chet as soon as that happened. And
That
it's
nigga
like,
turned to
with
Shang
the way
Tsung.
he attacked that rim
That nigga turned to Shang Tsung.
off the cut, you would have thought Chet slept with his girl and had a kid with her. Because peep the facials. I mean, what is that? He's still thinking about the tournament.
My husband used to ejaculate prematurely until
That nigga
this.
hate-
My hubby
that
is
nigga
ejaculating
hate
so
Chet.
fast, and then he gets so anxious.
I mean, what is that? He's still thinking about the tournament Chet beat him in back in 2021. Because that's realistically where it all started. That's where it got personal for him. Peep this voice line Wemby said after the game. Just thinking about it makes my jaw clench. Wembenyama said, it's a regret, an unfilled hole inside me that I have to fix. I think I said this same bar back in Prime Overwatch when I missed getting into Masters by like 4 SR and never recovered, plummeted to gold, and I've been back there ever since. You read that quote without any context, and you'd assume it's a Batman villain explaining the reasons why he has to take Batman off the earth, because when they were a kid, Batman was fighting some other evildoer and their parents were caught in the crossfire, so now they became a villain. Like, that's the type of shit that it sounds like.
That's
But instead, we're
pretty much,
talking about an under 19 basketball tournament that had no impact on either of their professional careers, because both of them were already league bound, guaranteed. And that's where the difference lied between the both of them, because Chet was aware of that. The only guarantee in Wemby's head, though, was retaliation. He wasn't even focused on the NBA. If Chet decided to steer his career path in a different direction and become a Walmart manager, guess who'd be managing the Target across the street? Because the way Wemby approaches it, it's like he has to get revenge for this nigga's existence. Like, your existence is a diss to me. Guard up so I can pull this shit from the logo in your mouth.
Literally.
And it's like, I'm not an NBA player. I chose not to go, so I can't say and describe fully how Chet feels in this moment. You know, I can't. I'm not in his position. I don't understand the weight of the media and the weight of people's criticisms and scrutiny.
Did you feel at any point that you almost went out of your way to like not make it about you and him, like almost to a degree you hadn't before?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's really about the fact that Wemby's my dada, and he fed me a bottle of milk out there on the basketball court today while rocking me to Betty Bye.
Nor do I know the weight of a 7'5" freak of nature thrashing down on my head top with the intent to take me off this planet. I don't know those feelings, but I'm just judging it off of my semi-professional play myself. When I'm at the court doing what I gotta do, even if I'm ever
You're
up against
weak,
an opponent who is giving me a lot of trouble, but is like my defensive and offensive assignment on the court, I still never back down from it. Because to me, it's like, you're only human. I can get one up on you, whether it be from me catching you quick off a first step and pulling it up, or just socking you in your fucking mouth. I'm gonna get something, you know. I'm gonna get something on you. I can't. It's gonna no matter what, we both bleed the same. Now, obviously, there's theories about Wemby's origin and stuff like that, whether it is from this planet. But it's just like, my goodness, like, I've never seen so much hate for another human being when that other human being wants nothing to do with you. Before the events of Game 7, I think Chet Holmgren just wanted to play basketball. I genuinely do. Like, obviously, he knew the talk of the town, whatever. I think he just wanted to play basketball, win a couple championships, make his money, and have a solid career. Now I believe he wants out. I don't know where to, because I feel like wherever he goes on the globe, the constant presence of this nigga for the rest of his life will now follow him. Unless he's able to make some sort of transformation mentally in the same manner where Wemby went to the mountains, maybe he needs to go do the same thing. But just judging by how petrified he looked during that game, I just don't see him even showing up for any future Spurs meetings for as long as Wemby's on that team. But on the topic of basketball, I just wanted to touch upon another one really quick, which would be Trae Young versus the New York Knicks fan base. Now, Trae Young did start this.
That's true.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like he didn't. He did turn the Garden to ice on a couple occasions
and was shooting dice on their logo not too long ago.
He did everything you're not supposed to do to the New York Knicks fan base. And of course, with him doing that, he would be met with some ferocity.
Suck my dick, Trae Young! Suck my dick! Fuck Trae Young!
And we ain't jacking Trae Young, he's jacking us till eruption. Fuck is you talking about?
Trae Young looks like my dad's dick! I better not catch Trae and Dankman! I better not catch Trae and Dankman!
That's a given. He did that to himself and he was basking in it. He loved it. We saw it on the face of that hairy lollipop. He loved it every time. What he did obviously was uncalled for, but if I'm in his position, you know,
doing the same thing.
I don't know. I feel like
That
I would
would've
be
been worse.
the same way. I believe playing in
That'd been worse.
an opposing team's arena would honestly be easier and more exciting
I would've
and
been
invoke a
worse.
different feeling in you than playing at home, because
Niggas
everyone's
would've
on your
hated me.
side, obviously, when you're at home.
I wouldn't have been a leader.
But
I
I
ain't
mean,
gonna lie.
I can't even picture the feeling of just like a us top of the key. The opposing team thinks they have it in the bag. You hit the dagger and stab not only the team but the whole arena in the heart, and you just hear the shit go silent. That's probably a surreal feeling. We did it. So no, I don't blame him for getting addicted to that. That's like a drug. But it's gotten to a point, and my knowledge on Trae Young's day-to-day is not, you know, I haven't been keeping up on it. I don't know if he's continuously been talking about them and still making jabs at him and stuff like that. But it seems like, from my perspective, he hasn't like that, because not only has he been injured, but the Hawks just haven't been involved in any playoff conversations. But where this beef now goes from that equivalently exchanged jest and jabbing is when the Knicks are playing different teams in the playoffs. And we're seeing interviews on the street and niggas are still saying fuck Trae Young. And to me, it's like, I feel like as a New York Knicks fan, I'd see that he's already paid for his sins because he's on the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
And there's nothing magical about that team now or anytime soon. They have been and seem to continue to be the Washington sewer rats. And I'd be thoroughly surprised
Not
if
the
they're
sewer
able to
rats,
make
bro.
even a whisper in the league within the next decade. Because while Trae Young...
Want the fastest working GLP-1? For half the price,
He said the sewer
Rome
rats.
now
That's
offers
tough.
FDA-approved weight loss injections cheaper.
even a whisper in the league within the next decade. Because while Trae Young is a great player, they have a withered Anthony Davis, who I also think is a phenomenal player, but we know how he operates. He's more fragile than my love life. So that's alarming. But I mean, it's like, who else do they got? They got Leaky Black. I love Leaky. I mean, they might as well put me on the damn squad at
Who the
this
fuck
point.
is Leaky Black?
Usually I'm joking. This time I think I'd be able to hang, genuinely. And shout out to those boys, Alex Sarr, Kaishan George, Trey Johnson, Justin Champagne Poppy, Bilal Koulibaly. I know he's solid. They have basketball players. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, that team is so ass, I don't even know if they have a fan base. I feel like you offer a citizen of Washington a large McDonald's meal or a Washington Wizards ticket, 9 times out of 10 they're taking the meal, and I don't blame them because I do the same 100%. So yeah, no, like it's like
He
I
said
just
they
feel like he's
taking the
taking
meal.
enough punishment, so there's no reason for this animosity to still be present. It's like they completely skipped over Halliburton, even though I feel like he caused them more anguish. I'm on point today with the wait, hold the hell on. Am I really doing this right now?
Yeah,
That
that's
was
what-
good.
yeah.
I liked that. I don't pull that one out often, but I feel like he's caused them more anguish and sleepless nights than a Trae Young would. I'm not a New York native. I don't understand the full emotional scope of things, but just judging from the outside looking in, I feel like maybe we should close the lid on that, unless he starts acting up in a Washington Wizards jersey. If that ends up being the case, if Trae Young has the audacity to pull up to Madison Square Garden while being on the Wizards and acting the way he was while he was on the Hawks, I wouldn't blame any Knicks fan if they didn't want Trae Young to become Trae Old.
Wow.
Was that good or no?
Trash.
Not that one. Okay. No.
Shit was trash, bro.
I'm sure it's been said before.
Skip that shit. That
I
shit
don't
was
know.
ass, bro.
I'm
Don't do that
sure
shit no more.
I would have blamed Knicks fans
Don't ever say that shit no more ever day in your life, man. Light skin ass nigga.
if they didn't want Trae Young to become Trae Old. Yeah, no, that's gonna stick. I had to say it the third time just so it could really. So Trae Old. Oh, I'm sweating right now. That's joke of the vid, I think. That's huge stuff. I don't know why I'm leaky brown right now. This is not good. Holy shit, 2 for 2. So seriously, I would have blamed y'all, because him doing that in a Wizards jersey is disrespectful to the game itself. But yeah, so that's that. But to move from the topic of basketball back into the fictional space, another one I wanted to touch upon briefly, Mr. Turner and Dinkelberg. You know, and I'm not up to speed on Odd Parents lore, but I'm almost positive from what I remember, he deadass just hates on the Dink because he's got more motion than him.
Literally.
chance of rain, this can only be the work of
Dingleberg. Literally.
It's one of the most iconic ones.
The crazy thing is Dingleberg looking back, he wanted to kick it with him. He wanted to be his homie. And he just, man.
Sided beefs in all of television, because it would be on some shit where Mr. Turner stubs his toe, Dingleberry, wife cheats on him, and maybe this one was possible, Dinkelberg. And if I was Dinkelberg, I would have done everything in my power to try and wreck that relationship with Mr. Turner and Mrs. Turner, because my goodness, he was something special. And I'll get to her when I talk about the best cougars in fiction. That's a video I thought of the other day, and that will be happening.
He freaky.
So that'll be a good one. I may have to wear like armor, a suit of armor or something for that one, because that's going to be intense on the body. But no, seriously, I got not much more to say about it. I just wanted it to be mentioned because it was that iconic and that absurd that I couldn't not bring it up. But no, yeah, so there was that one. And next up we have Saitama versus Speedo Sonic. Now, obviously we already know how Saitama's character operates in general, and he's already got that pre-existing gag to him. So this guy didn't stand a chance from the jump and became the gag to the gag. Because in our first meeting with him, I think he was reverse jumping a group of bald brothers. I don't remember their significance and if they had any relation to Saitama, but all I know is that he was working them until we saw Saitama pull up. So SOS immediately aggroes onto him. And if you've seen the show, you know how that went. Saitama was tracking him the whole time. He tries bringing down a kick from the heavens on his bald scalp to where Saitama mildly knuckles his gooch. And obviously, being on the receiving end of that undercarriage gooch area impact, I'm sure to SOS that felt like a Ford F-150 ramming into his shit. And he got for the count, to where he says, "I'll get my revenge." Saitama's like, "Train harder." And then we see throughout the duration of the story him just trying to antagonize Saitama and him humbling him time and time again. And I think Genos even got in on the fun too. That one I feel like is one of the most heavily weighted one-sided beefs in all of anime, for sure. Because it's just like there's no chance he'll ever get the reciprocation on Saitama's end to where they could run a genuine fade, and he's always just going to be chasing that feeling of trying to beat him. And maybe that isn't the case in the manga, but obviously with the way the anime was panning out, I don't know if
Hey Google, take me to Hollywood.
but obviously with the way the anime was panning out, I don't know if we'll be seeing that anytime soon or even ever. But no, on to the next one. Another obvious one too, I feel like would have to be Orochimaru of soccer, Itoshi Rin, and his one-sided beef with his elder brother. Now, conceptually, I understand his frustration. You know, you had this dream that you were chasing with your brother. He went to play overseas. He comes back talking about, these niggas are different over here. I stand no chance against them. Let's just call that dream dead. of being the best midfielder and best striker because it's not happening. The competition is just way too good. So as a little brother who's looking up to that, you know, I can get that. But for that hatred and hunger to accumulate to a point in your body to where it starts causing physical reactions to your anatomy, such as slobbering on the national stage, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe instead of football, we need a foot in the door of a mental facility. I mean, now granted, he was hooping in the U20 game. Don't get it twisted now. That was a great performance defensively. But had this meeting be anywhere else but the soccer field, I'm convinced Itoshi Rin would be going away for murder. That's because that's just how he was talking and that's how he was acting, you know. And I know the Blue Lock characters, I don't even want to say over exaggerate because really it is that serious. Like Shido did really impregnate some niggas after that game. That was a real like it does get to that level. But again, I feel like the saliva on the field was a little bit much for me. And like obviously we saw how he reacted in that one episode after Sai broke the news of their assness to him. And he was like gripping his table, every vein protruding out of his eyeball, basically making a binding vow on himself, saying if he doesn't take Sai's life on the soccer field, then God might as well smite him down.
Damn!
Because that's his only purpose. That's how he was moving. And it's like Sai low-key instigates the shit too, especially after the game, because he knows very well that Rin had him in shackles. But for him to not give Rin any acknowledgement and just be like, yeah, no, the one who's going to change the soccer world is Isagi. He's just instigating at that point. And that's intentional. But yeah, no, so that was another one. And another T-Bone that is bordering hate, because I feel like there's a difference between beef and just flat out hating a nigga. No, I guess one-sided beef and hate is synonymous. I don't know. But another recent and prime example would be Double L Lex Luthor versus Superman, especially in the movie. I'm not an indulger in the comics, nor have I seen like any of the shows. But as of this most recent live action movies, I think if you were to take a slab, your choice, it could be ribeye, filet mignon, T-bone, whatever type of steak, and you were to put it on the grill, flip that shit over, you'd see Lex Luthor's face starting to form in all the little striations and shit. Because this nigga lived to torment, torture, and beef with Superman. And it's not like Superman did anything to him, at least to my knowledge. He deadass just existed. He was doing everything in his power to ruin his image via the monkeys that he had in the pocket dimension with their Twitter fingers. Katie was probably in the mix too, and had those niggas on payroll just to hate Superman. That was like his version of generating passive income, but he was accumulating his riches mentally. Then we obviously see him create, spoilers, but we see him create a clone of Superman using like a strand of hair, so I don't remember, just to beat his own ass. That shit damn near served as entertainment to him. And it basically got to a point where Luthor was willing to remove Earth from existence in order to prove whatever point he was trying to prove to Superman. But he was creating issues with the intent to blame Superman for the reasons why those issues went awry and caused damage or casualties or whatever. Like, I don't remember fully his motives for certain things, and like the whole pocket dimension, I don't recall. I'd have to rewatch the film. It definitely like wasn't morally just. He was a pretty bad dude, but I feel like in the hypothetical where Superman doesn't exist, this nigga Luthor is no different than like a Elon or Zuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he's just an elite in the world who attends UFC events, who may or may not be involved in some shady business going on. But since Superman does exist, now his actions are escalated to levels that are harmful to the planet itself. Those are the lengths he will go to just to suppress and silence this nigga. So seeing that on the big screen, it was something special. Like when Luthor was 1Aing, I deadass have never in any show, movie, any piece of media, I have never seen someone be so engaged and turned up at the sight of their ops head being bashed in. But no, to move away from the fictional world, again, I did mention UFC briefly, and speaking of that, I feel like another one-sided scuffle would have to be Michael Chandler versus the concept of winning. But am I only bringing this up because my favorite fighter not only made him look silly out there on the White House lawn, but then proposed to his beautiful, lovely wife after winning and is going to take over the lightweight division? That's exactly why I'm bringing it up. But taking a look at Chandler's track record, it's like he could do everything but win. And I thoroughly enjoy him just as like a personality. He seems like a really cool dude in general. But every fight I've seen of him, it seems like he has the strength, he has the skill set, and he has the ability to win as well as go to war with these high level elite killers, but then he could just never get the job done. And whether it be him gassing out or just making silly blunders, it's just like he can never get over that hump. Every fight he's in, I always think he has the potential to do something special and get his hand raised. Yesterday was out of the question though. If I was him, I would look into and thoroughly think about beating Dana White's ass, because he was basically setting Chandler up to lose his life. Because when you get in the oct, that's slang for it. Because when you get in the oct with Roof, I mean, typically you're not going back to your family looking the same. And it was just a miraculous performance. He really is something, like, he is good, man.
Damn.
But back to Chandler. So him versus winning, that doesn't really happen. But another one, I mean, you could say is kind of a one-sided beef, is him versus, because obviously Conor was supposed to fight him at some point, and then I think that fight fell through and he's called him out like 7 times just to get matched up with a nigga who stylistically to a degree mimics Conor, just to get dismantled by him. I mean, he's had it rough. He's had it rough. Dare I say he's had it roughy. I'm sure there's a bunch more, but I think I got my point across and I went on a couple tangents, so I don't want to make this too long. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in for this. I hope this was a fun one. And
Shout out to my guy, Jules Dot, man. Go show love that channel. See y'all in a second, not a minute, man. Love y'all, man.